Today I'm going behind the scenes with Henry the sea turtle, who has taken over the internet by storm with his unique personality and great looks, as well as all of the rescue sea turtles here in the Florida Keys. Alright guys, well today I'm here at Theater of the Sea down here in the Florida Keys, and I'm going behind the scenes with their rescue sea turtles, and showing me around today is Sam and Jack. So tell me a little bit about yourselves and what you do here at Theater of the Sea.
Like you said, my name is Sam, this is Jack, and we work in the fish and reptile department here at our park.
Yeah, we are both animal care specialists, and we work with the rescued sea turtles, crocodilians, the sharks, the stingrays, and all the tropical fish here as well.
So what are we going to be doing today? I know we're getting behind the scenes of all the sea turtles that you guys have here. Tell us a little bit about the amount of sea turtles you have and how important rescue animals are.
So we have 9 rescued sea turtles here at the park. They all have various medical conditions or injuries which make them non-releasable. So they're deemed to be non-releasable by the Florida government. And
something else I want to ask you guys is, what makes rescue animals such great ambassadors for conservation and education?
I think it's really important. A lot of times people might not get a chance to see these animals on their own in the wild, so getting a chance to see them up close in a regulated area like this can inspire people to want to protect them for generations to come.
Awesome. And are we gonna be feeding some sea turtles today?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's the important part. That's what I was most excited to do.
That's the fun part.
But if you guys are ready, let's head on over to the sea turtles and start the encounter.
All right, let's do it.
All right, so our first sea turtle of the day, her name is Christmas. Tell us a little bit about her and what makes her unique.
So Christmas is one of our rescued sea turtles. She was actually struck by a boat. Usually when this happens, they can get buoyancy disorders, commonly called bubble butt, and that is her main issue. You might notice that her back end floats. Unfortunately, it causes her front end to sink, so it makes it difficult for her to breathe on her own, swim properly. So to help fix those problems, she's got 2 lead weights on the rear end of her shell. It'll weigh it down so it'll even her out to swim, and then she can also lift her head above the surface, take a nice big breath of air.
So how many times a day does Christmas get fed, or all sea turtles here in general?
They do get 1 diet a day. So they are cold-blooded animals, so unlike maybe your pets at home that might get a breakfast and a dinner, like us, we eat multiple meals a day. Their body temperature is regulated based off of the environment, so when it's cooler, they're typically not quite as active. They also might not really be eating as much as well. So they get 1 diet a day. The amount depends on each animal. So each animal here at the park, whether it's a fish, a reptile, a bird, they all get their own individualized diet.
This is definitely the part I was looking the most forward to.
Yeah, good. And if she drops it, like, she will usually find it. She'll forage for it a lot of times with her daily diet. We'll just dump her shrimp kind of in the shallow area for her to forage for, since that is a natural behavior for sea turtles. She seems to enjoy it as well.
Can we try feeding the porcupine fish?
Yeah, of course. Oh, here he comes.
It's pretty cool. They remove the exoskeleton while they're chewing it, and they spit it out, so they're just getting the meat.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's why it's taking so long.
That's fascinating. Okay, our second sea turtle of the day, who do we have here?
Alright, so this is Henry. He's one of our rescued green sea turtles here at the park. He was actually found on a beach in Daytona, Florida back in the 1980s, washed up and really, really skinny, and they realized he was almost completely blind. So he has cataracts. Because of this, we've had to train him using this stick. It's called a target stick. Basically, he's trained to respond to the sound of it. So wherever he is in this lagoon, we can tap this target stick. He'll come towards the sound. He can also see a little bit. His vision's kind of blurry, but he can see the stick, and we can guide him towards us. So that's how we get him over here.
Do you know the weight of Henry?
Yeah, so he weighs about 310 pounds.
Wow. Is this about as big as they get?
Yeah, this is pretty much maximum for a green. And then the biggest sea turtles are leatherbacks, and they get up to be about 2,000 pounds. So
I can't even imagine that.
5 times the size of him.
So would you say Henry's the most popular or famous rescue turtle you have?
Yeah, he's definitely a fan favorite. I think it's his face, to be honest. He's got a really cute face.
Yeah. And did you say how old he is?
We don't technically know, because he's a rescue, so we don't know when he was born, but we can estimate based on how big his shell is. We think he's between 90 and 100.
Wow.
But yeah, in human care, he could live to be up to 200 years old.
So how far would you say Henry can actually like see?
3 feet, something like that, not far at all. We think it's probably, you can just see like blurry colors. It helps when it's really bright stuff. Like, yeah. He'll follow this, but also my Crocs. When I'm in there, you might have just seen he was chasing my Crocs because you can probably see the brightness of them. And Henry, does he have the same diet as Christmas? Kind of. So these guys do have vegetables as well, and this is as like an alternative to what they would eat out in the wild, which is seaweed, sea lettuce and stuff like that. So we do give them nutritious vegetables like cucumber, green peppers, zucchini, snap peas, so they eat pretty good. And yeah, green sea turtles are omnivorous, so they do eat meat as well. So today he's getting some squid. How long can a sea turtle hold its breath? Up to about 7 hours, so that's about maximum. They're usually taking a breath every 15 minutes if they're active. Yeah, so a lot of times when people come to the park, they'll see a sea turtle and they're like, oh, is something wrong with the sea turtle? Like, she's been under the rock, especially Christmas. She likes to sit under the waterfall. They're like, is she okay? She's been under there for hours. And we're like, she's just taking a nap there. I can see why Henry's so popular. He's so good in front of the camera. He is, yeah.
It was such a blast getting up close with Henry. After watching his videos for months, it felt so heartwarming to get to see him in person. If you find yourself in the Florida Keys, go to Theater of the Sea so you can get up close with Henry yourself, because it seems like the more attention he gets, the happier he is. But after that, I spent some time with Randy, the loggerhead sea turtle, who is absolutely massive, Mortimer, who is another loggerhead, and just like Randy was rescued all the way back in the 1970s, Holmes, who is a Kemp's Ridley sea turtle, and honestly was giving Henry a run for his money as the cutest sea turtle in the park. Holmes was really active for the first few minutes, but eventually got camera shy and dove down to the bottom of his lagoon. Take a look at all of the parrotfish in there too. Holmes definitely has one of the best lagoons to call home. But eventually it was time to get up close with these 4 turtles right here.
Okay, we are on to our final tank and we have multiple sea turtles in here. Tell us about these individuals.
Alright, so in this lagoon we actually have 4 of our rescued sea turtles. They are all green sea turtles. We've got one that's wearing a life jacket, we've got one that's missing flippers, and we have 2 that are essentially blind. So let's go meet them.
Okay, so why does this sea turtle need a life jacket?
So this is Quasimodo. She was actually born at a turtle hatchery with a spinal deformity. Their spines are connected to their shells, so if you compare hers to the other turtles you've met here at the park, you'll notice it's very misshapen. A lot of people think she doesn't have one, but she does. It's actually just hiding underneath the life jacket. Now, because of her deformity, she has a buoyancy disorder called bubble butt, just like Christmas. And then the life jacket does somewhat similar but opposite things to Christmas's weight. So the life jacket will bring her front end to the surface. That way she can breathe and she can swim evenly. It's made out of old wetsuit material, and inside the pockets are just pool floaties. And so the sea turtle right next to Quasimodo, this is Aphrodite. She's missing her front right as well as her back left flipper. Aphrodite was actually found stuck in monofilament fishing line. Unfortunately, it was wrapped so tight, she had an infection called gangrene. So to save her life, the flippers needed to be amputated to keep the infection from spreading to the rest of her body. So Aphrodite is a great reminder to everyone, especially here in the Keys, since people come down here specifically to go fishing, that you want to properly dispose of that fishing gear, the fishing line. They do have specific disposal bins for them, usually at piers.
Okay, now tell us about this individual.
Okay, so this is Jana. Jana was actually rescued from St. Croix in the Caribbean. She was unfortunately attacked by feral dogs while she was laying her nest on the beach. So unlike other types of turtles, tortoises, sea turtles are actually not able to fully retract their flippers and head into their shell. So after this attack, she was left completely blind. So if you take a close look at her face, you'll notice that she is missing both of her eyes. We do training with everyone here at the park. She's actually trained to respond to something called an auditory recall. If you have a pet at home and you call their name, they come over to you. It's the same concept. Right, and we've got one other sea turtle in here. Let's see if she's still over here on the end. All right, so this is Myrtle. Myrtle was unfortunately hit on his head by a boat. So as you can see, he's missing his left eye, and he has really poor vision in his right eye as well. And Myrtle is an important ambassador to his wild counterparts. It reminds us to always make sure we're practicing safe boating regulations, slow down in those no wake zones,
Right.
Different things like that.
So out of all the turtles you guys have here, how many of them, their disabilities come from human interactions?
Ooh.
Between boats, fishing gear?
Quite a few of them actually. We got Myrtle, who was hit on his head by a boat. We've got Afro, who's missing flippers because of fishing line. We've got Christmas, who was struck by a boat too. A lot of the sea turtles here at the park for sure. You guys are piling up here.
It was so amazing to go behind the scenes at Theater of the Sea. I really wanted to shine a light on these rescued sea turtles and why they're such great ambassadors for education and conservation. Facilities just like this are so helpful in spreading awareness to the public and giving these animals a forever home. Stay tuned to watch me catch wildlife in the Florida Everglades and film sharks with my drone.